If you are torn between Langley or Surrey in 2026, stick around to the end because I'm going to break down exactly how both cities feel to live in, which markets are softening or staying strong, which neighborhoods people regret buying in, plus the latest median sales price so you know what you're walking into. This is Surrey versus Langley for 2026. My name is Dan and I'm a realtor in the Fraser Valley area, and if you want help buying, selling, investing, or relocating, you can text me at 604-288-7592. So let's start with the big picture. Surrey and Langley look close on the map, but they are two completely different lifestyles. Surrey is large, fast-growing, diverse, and constantly changing. You have urban pockets, quiet suburban pockets, and even semi-rural pockets. Langley is smaller, a little bit newer feeling, more organized, and much easier to mentally map out. You can drive around one afternoon and already have a pretty good sense of the main neighborhoods in the area. Think of Surrey as a city that is in the middle of a big transformation. You can think of Langley that is more designed around families and schools. So for section 1, we're going to go over what you actually get in each city. Here's the simplest way to look at it. In Surrey, you get variety. Older detached homes on big lots, brand new high-rise condos, townhomes, duplexes, laneway style homes, you name it. In Langley, you get more consistency. There are large clusters of newer homes, modern townhomes, and newer condo buildings, especially in Willoughby and Yorkson. If you're the type of buyer who wants a lot of choice, and if you're comfortable sorting through very different types of products, Surrey can give you that option. And if you want things that are more similar and a little bit more predictable block to block, Langley leans a little bit more that direction. Before we go deeper into lifestyle, let's talk numbers so you know where each market is sitting today. So for section 2, we're going to go over median sales prices as of October 2025. These numbers are straight from the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board Stats Center. So for condos and apartments, the 2025 median sales price in Surrey was $479,000. In Langley, it was $549,000. In the Fraser Valley overall is about $504,000. Year over year from 2024 to 2025, Surrey condo median pricing is down about 12.4%, whereas Langley condo median pricing is basically flat, down about 0.2%. So condo values in Surrey have pulled back a lot harder than Langley, while Langley is held much more stable. Let's move on to detached homes. In 2025, the median sales price in Surrey was $1.447 million. In Langley, it was $1.377 million. And the Fraser Valley overall is $1.35 million. Year over year from 2024 to 2025, Surrey detached medians are down about 5.3%, whereas Langley detached medians are down about 1.3%. So both markets have softened, but Surrey definitely took a bigger step down. Moving on to townhouses, the 2025 median sales prices in Surrey were $783,000. In Langley, they were $816,000, and in the Fraser Valley, overall was $779,000. So year over year from 2024 to 2025, Surrey townhomes are down about 3.2%. Whereas Langley townhomes are down about 1.7%. Townhomes are holding a little bit stronger in Langley, and Langley is still consistently higher than Surrey for this type of product. So putting everything into simple terms, condos, Langley is a little bit more stable. For townhomes, Langley is a little bit higher and a little bit more firm. For detached homes, Surrey is still higher, but it's corrected a little bit more. Now let's talk about what it actually feels like to live in these cities, because that's what will make or break your move. So for section 3, we're gonna go over lifestyle and how each city feels day to day. Surrey has more of a big city pulse in most areas. During the day, roads are busier, malls are fuller, there's way more foot traffic in places like Surrey Central, Guildford, and Newton. At night, you have more restaurants that are open late, more takeout options, and more things happening overall. You will see a lot of high-rise construction, infill projects, and constant change. So if you like energy, movement, and that feeling that the city is growing around you, you'll connect a little bit better with Surrey. Langley, on the other hand, feels a little bit more settled and a little bit more intentional. Most of the growth is in the master planned areas. So when you drive through Willoughby or Yorkson, you'll see newer schools, newer parks, playgrounds, dog parks, small commercial corners, and clearly the entire area is built more around families. During the day, you see a lot more strollers, kids in sports gear, people walking dogs, people working from cafes, and at night, it does quiet down quite a bit more. Cafes are a big difference as well. Langley surprisingly has a strong coffee shop culture, so if you like working from cafes or meeting clients or friends somewhere cozy, Langley probably has more spots for you to actually use week to week. Surrey has great food diversity, so if eating out and exploring different cuisines matters to you, Surrey does have more options packed into more neighborhoods. So if you're more of a city person who actually likes activity around you, Surrey leans a little bit more your way. If you're more of a community and a family routine person, Langley leans a little bit more your way. Again, I do want to emphasize it completely depends on which neighborhood in each city. Next is commuting, and this is where a lot of people make mistakes. Surrey has more major routes as Highway 1, King George, Fraser Highway, 152nd, Scott Road, and the existing SkyTrain through Surrey Central, plus the upcoming SkyTrain station down Fraser Highway towards Fleetwood and Clayton. Overall, Overall, it sounds better, but there is a catch. Surrey does have more choke points. Fraser Highway in rush hour, King George during peak, 152nd, 88th, parts of Guildford and Newton. And if you're commuting during normal office hours, you start to feel that density. Langley has fewer routes, but a little bit more breathing room. The main entries are 200th Street, 208th, 216th, Fraser Highway, and Highway 1. The roads often feel a little bit wider and less chaotic, but when there's a big crash on Highway 1 or a slowdown, it can back literally everything up. The big future factor is the SkyTrain running to Langley City. Once that is running, Langley becomes a legitimate option for people who work closer to Vancouver, but don't want to live in a dense urban environment. This is going to matter a lot over the next decade. So if you're commuting downtown and want to bet on transit, both cities can benefit, but Surrey has the head start and Langley is going to be a little bit more of a wait. For section 5, we're going to go over schools and family life. For families, this is where Langley really stands out. Langley has some of the newest schools in the lower mainland. Many of them have opened in the last 10 years or so. Classrooms are modern, gyms are newer, and the layout of the neighborhoods around the schools are often designed around being walkable and bikeable. Surrey has more schools overall and more specialty programs, including French immersion and advanced programs. But Surrey also has more issues with overcrowding and portables in certain areas because the population has grown so fast. So if you want stability and you don't want to worry about constant catchment adjustments, Langley feels a little bit safer. But if you want more program choices and you don't mind a little bit more chaos, Surrey can offer more of that. For section 6, we're going to go over safety and consistency by area. Neither city is perfect, and both have amazing pockets, and both have pockets that are still improving. The big difference is how much things vary in each city. In Surrey, neighborhood personality and feel change pretty dramatically once you drive a few minutes. South Surrey feels very different from Newton. Fleetwood feels very different from Surrey Central. Clayton feels very different from Guildford, so you really have to understand the micro areas. In Langley, the differences are more subtle. Langley has some older pockets and some more mixed product, but Willoughby, Walnut Grove, Brookswood, Murrayville, and Yorkson all feel fairly consistent within themselves, other than the years of the buildings. In Langley, the differences are a little bit more subtle. Langley has some older pockets and more mixed product, but Willoughby, Walnut Grove, Murrayville, and Yorkson all have that fairly consistent family feel. So if you want a city where you cannot really go wrong if you stay in the main family neighborhoods, Langley feels a little bit more like that. And in Surrey, the upside is higher, but the spread between a great pocket and a not so great pocket is much larger. For section 7, we're going to go over a neighborhood snapshot. So here's a quick feel of the main spots people ask me about. For Surrey, Fleetwood is suburban, there's parks, schools, future SkyTrain stations, and is very livable. Clayton is a little bit of a younger demographic, lots of townhomes, newer feeling, tons of dogs, tons of kids, and local cafes. South Surrey is a coastal vibe, cleaner, feels more upscale, lots of amenities, and it's close to White Rock. Guildford is a big mall, it's great highway access, good mix of detached and higher density. Surrey Central has the tallest buildings, the most urban energy, and feels like a downtown that is still forming. Fraser Heights is quiet, it's established, it's great for families that want peace and quick highway access. Cloverdale has the most community events, fairgrounds, and is very family oriented, so there's more of a small town feel inside of Surrey. For Langley, Willoughby is going to be the epicenter for young families. Everything is newer, super high demand. Yorkson feels like an established part of Willoughby with great walkability. Walnut Grove is quiet, stable, and there's lots of long-term owners and a stronger community feel. Murrayville, very clean, organized. It's older and newer homes mixed. People stay there for a long time usually. Brookswood has bigger lots, more trees, semi-rural, and it's great if you want space and privacy. Langley City is more of a mixed product with older strata buildings, but huge upside coming with the SkyTrain and the redevelopment. So for section 8, we're going to go over the future growth and the future upside. From an investment and a long-term perspective, both cities have pretty strong stories, but they're just very different. Surrey is all about scale and transformation, continued high immigration, major redevelopment in Surrey Central, transit-oriented development along Fraser Highway, high-rise and mid-rise projects, and reshaping key corridors. Langley is more about focused growth. The SkyTrain into Langley City, Willowbrook area intensifying, and new schools and amenities in Willoughby. If you want the biggest city is transforming story, Surrey gives you that. But if you want the town is growing in a planned way around family and transit, Langley gives you that. For section 9, we're going to talk about hidden lifestyle costs. There are also some hidden lifestyle costs that don't show up on a spreadsheet. In Surrey, that might look like more time in traffic if you choose the wrong location, more noise if you're near major construction corridors or construction zones, more density, which can mean parking battles in some townhome complexes or condo areas. And in Langley, that might look like more time spent driving because the transit is still catching up, school pickup and drop off rush in Willoughby that can clog certain intersections, and less late night options if you like going out. Most of the regret I see is not I chose the wrong city, but it's usually I chose the wrong neighborhood for my personality. If you're sensitive to noise and traffic and you bought right off a main street road in Surrey, that can be very very rough. If you like energy and walkability and you bought deep in a quiet corner of Brookswood, you're probably going to feel stuck. If you bought an older condo in Langley City without understanding the building history, that can create stress. If you bought purely because something looked cheap for the size and ignored the location, that usually bites later. So the real key is not just Surrey versus Langley, it's knowing you and matching that to the right pocket. For section 11, we're going to go over who should pick what. Choose Surrey if you want more restaurant variety, more transit and future transit nodes, more density and city energy, more product variety at different ages and sizes, and you want to bet on a major urban transformation story. Choose Langley if you want newer neighborhoods and schools, calmer streets, easier parking almost everywhere, a stronger family community feel, a little bit more clean, organized day-to-day lifestyle, and a SkyTrain on the way. So forget the marketing, ask yourself one question: what do you want a random Tuesday at 4 p.m. to feel like? If your ideal Tuesday has more noise, more people around, more options, a little bit more energy, a little bit shorter distance to the SkyTrain ride, and you like watching a city grow up around you, Surrey's probably going to feel a little bit more ideal. If your ideal Tuesday is a school drop-off, coffee at a local cafe, easy errands, kids and activities, playing sports, nice parks, and you probably will get a little bit more parking in most areas than Surrey. That picture is often more important than any stat sheet. For section 13, we're going to go over my 2026 picks. If I was focusing purely on long-term upside and I was okay with more density, I would look hard at Fleetwood, Clayton, and parts of Surrey Central where transit and redevelopment intersect. If I had young kids and I wanted predictability and a calmer lifestyle, I'd probably look at Willoughby and Walnut Grove first in Langley. If I wanted a long-term play with a big catalyst, I would pay close attention to Langley City before the SkyTrain fully arrives and the area finishes its next wave of redevelopment. So for section 14, this is my final advice. Tour both cities, drive them at different times of the day, walk the streets near the homes you like, look at where the schools, the parks, and the grocery stores are. Don't just chase square footage, and make sure the daily feel matches who you are. You're not just buying a property, you're buying how your life is going to feel every single day. So if you're thinking about moving to Surrey or Langley and you want help figuring out exactly which neighborhood fits your budget and lifestyle, you can text me at 604-288-7592. You can tell me a little bit about your situation and I can send you a custom short list of areas to focus on and areas to avoid for your situation. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.